you mentioned that men have been talking to women for thousands of years. It's true. And it's easy to lose sight of that. It's easy for guys to get into this stuff and start studying game and pick up whatever. They start to think this is like really complicated. It's like a really complex skill. And you know what? It can be a complex skill if you want to make it that way. But it could also be really simple.
Really simple.
And it could also be like just really easy even, depending on how you're going about it. So like my thing is always, let's keep things as simple as possible, for one thing. So that's kind of like the frame that I'm always coming at these things. And let's focus on the basic core qualities that a man needs to become attractive.
Right.
And to get results. And when you distill it down to the fundamental qualities, it's really not that much, We're talking about confidence, dominance. We're talking about, logistical awareness, social awareness, just having a basic social intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Having the courage and the confidence to go after what you want. Mm-hmm. Being able to deal with rejections and flakes and brush-offs and stuff. Basic conversation skills. The ability to physically escalate, which goes back to, the courage to go after what you want and to pursue what you want, take risks.
Right.
Very little else, that's 90-95% of the game right there. And then you can talk about like specific conversational routines. You get into specific warm-up routines. You get into, very detailed scripts.
Right.
Or systems for going from the rapport phase to the attraction phase or vice versa.
Right.
And then transitioning into a phone number close, blah, blah, blah. Like all that stuff is relatively minor compared to these basic qualities,
You know what? This is the truth, man. So I coach, you coach. Sometimes in order to do basic marketing and establish a niche, it's like we've all seen the infomercial model. We know if they're selling knives or pots or a rotisserie barbecue, we kind of like understand how it goes. And a lot of time guys come up with like a name for something that had, sight, as a reticular activation system. And there's a little bit of science behind it that they're playing up and hyping. But it's not like that was what was missing from your game. What was missing from the game for a lot of people who are watching that is that they don't get out there and take action on a nearly regular enough basis to enjoy the success that they want to have. So
right.
If you go and you take action on a regular enough basis to enjoy the success that you want to have, you're not going to get there in a day, but you will over time look back, especially if you have the ability. So for me, I don't really keep a journal, but I have text messages in my phone. And if I go back to the text messages I was getting back a year ago and how the interactions were going a year ago, there are big differences because I've been committed and consistent in going out and taking action.
Yeah. So what are some of the differences in terms of your growth and your evolution?
Well, for one thing, women are much more likely to text me back now. Sometimes I used to text women like, hey, it was really fun meeting you and I hope we get to hang together soon and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, hey, first name, it's Dexter, save my number. So, hey, first name is Dexter, save my number. And I'll get back a text like, hey, it was really fun to meet you. I hope we get to hang. So the thing I used to be saying to them, I leave space now, they're able to say it to me. And it's less like me chasing and more like a dance, because I am much more confident, I'm much more clear, and the interaction is much more masculine. I've worked on my fashion, and I'm taking action, and you get better and better and smoother, and you become, it's like something I've spoken to you about, how you become better at figuring out who's going to be receptive to who you are and what you have to say and what you're looking for right now.
Right.
So once you are in that frame of mind where you have already made a good choice in terms of the woman that you've approached, then she's going to just be more receptive, and because she's more receptive, your results and your outcomes go up and become better.
Yeah.
And it seems like magic, but if you didn't go through that first set of approaches where you weren't sure who was going to be receptive and accepting of what you're offering, then if you never did that, you wouldn't be enjoying the success that comes down the road. Right. Which is, like 80% of the women that I approach now are super down to hang out with me and go on a date.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a better target selection, selecting the women that you approach better, as opposed to just a random, crazy, like a point and shoot kind of thing. Just point and go approach. You're taking your time to find the right girl, and part of that is also you don't feel the need to approach everybody.
You don't.